I have been a big fan for a long time, and I'm one of those moms who attends your webinars and listens in to hear your wisdom. And I'm so thrilled that we can introduce you to our audience who watches our show. But I want to start out by having you tell them a little bit about who you are and how Nourishing Hope came to be.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Julie Matthews. I'm a certified nutrition consultant, and I've been working with kids with autism and on the autism spectrum pretty much since the beginning of my career, even in my early nutrition studies. So I was just very intrigued by the state of our nutrition today and how poor it was and how many additives and things that we had. And so I started studying really early on about ADHD and autism, and then found out actually there's things you can do about it, and there's ways that you can help them actually get better and even recover. And when I learned that there were things out there that most people didn't know about, that was pretty much all I needed to spend pretty much all my waking hours learning and studying and researching and helping families.
And you have a practice that's entitled Nourishing Hope, is that correct?
That's correct.
But you're a speaker and you speak all over the world, and you're an author, and your book is Nourishing Hope as well. And let's start out by telling people that if they want to find out more, they can go to nourishinghope.com. But we also are putting on our Facebook right now, there's a link that people can go to that will take them to a free newsletter that you do that's full of great information. So if people want to go, you can go on our Facebook right now, and there's a link to get to the place where you sign in to get the free newsletter from Julie. But Julie, I want to know about, this is going to sound like a bizarre question, how does a young woman, when you were a teenager, were you sitting there saying, oh, I can't wait to become a nutritionist, and I specifically am interested in how nutrition affects kids on the autism spectrum? How did it actually come about?
Yeah, well, I actually wasn't a teenager. Thank you, though. I had actually been in the corporate world and knew that that's not what was, wasn't fulfilling in any way. And so I decided that I wanted to go learn a modality that I thought could have an underlying impact on a whole variety of disorders. So that's how I started. And you know, you're right. I didn't have kids for another almost 10 years, and actually probably longer than that now that I think about it. And I guess I was just compelled, you know, when you see the suffering going on and when you see how profound something simple like diet and nutrition can be, yeah. I pretty much was hooked. I felt like there needed to be somebody to champion this message and somebody to share the stories of these families. And I don't know, call it my personality or what have you. That was pretty much all I needed. And from there on out, I want, you know, the more you learn, the more you help, the more inspiring it becomes.
Absolutely. I notice in my life that there seems to be three types of people. And help me to see if you also encounter this within your practice and in all the things that you do. There seems to be people who say, I really think that what I put into my body has an effect on how I behave and how I think and how productive I am. Then there are people that they're sort of in the middle. The jury is kind of out. They're not sure. They don't really want to change what they're eating, but they think maybe what they eat has an effect on their lives, not to mention their kids' lives. And then there's a group of people who just really don't think that how you eat and what you eat affects how you think and how you move through the world. And I don't understand that group of people. They mystify me. Do you notice that there are people who, and what do you say to those people who think that what you eat and how you eat does not affect how you think?
Yes, it's a really interesting one. I didn't think of the groups in that way, but yeah, absolutely. And really, I spend lots of my time preaching to the choir, because those are the people super excited. But as you know, that's not, you know, they're already bought on. So then there's the middle group, and that's probably my favorite group. The people that they're looking for solutions, they're looking for answers, they understand there's probably something to this, and that's probably my favorite group to help. And then there's the third group, and you know, it's a hard one. As you said, it's not really a thought process that I engage in, so it's really hard to understand. And I'm there for all those people. But you know what? I really don't try to convince them, because in the end, they need some curiosity. So I usually help people once they have a curiosity and they're asking questions. The really frustrating thing can be when you have a family member or somebody else you know in your life that just is in that third group you mentioned, and the people you really want to help and convince. And I've just learned that, you know, I let them know some information, you know, and then if they want to know more, then I wait for them to ask me.
And that's probably a good plan. Julia, I want to start to, we're going to take a break in just a second, but I want to start to get into some nuts and bolts, because you see on a daily basis that by changing maybe something small, maybe something a little bit bigger, what a child eats and how they take it in and how they get nutrients can make a difference. What kinds of things? Give me like one example of how it can change a child's progress.
Well, if you know, for instance, if you change wheat or you change dairy and you remove those, sometimes they're creating opiates or other things that can really affect attention and focus and behavior. And sometimes it can be incredibly profound, from a child that's never spoken words before and having language in a few months, to having first conversational language back and forth, to getting rid of some of the pain and suffering they have from digestive issues and things. So that's just kind of, I guess, one example and some of the potential outcomes.